So I've got a crazy story as to why there is a fishing net sitting on my front porch this morning. So last night, my wife Allison and I were sitting inside our living room. We were watching a television program and just kind of hanging out and chilling out before we would go to bed. It was probably like, I don't know, 9:30. And suddenly we noticed that little barn cat, who is our house cat. She was a barn cat, she got hit by a car, now she's retired indoor house cat and spends most of her time living in my office. Well, she was down in the living room with us and she was over at our stove and she was like scratching and fighting at the stove for some reason, like there was some sort of mouse or critter inside the stove. And now one of the upsides to having a house cat is your house cat will help prevent rodents and mice. And because we live in an old farmhouse, that does happen from time to time, so it's always good to have her on patrol. But after a minute or two of watching her, what we suddenly realized was it wasn't a mouse that was living inside the stove. It was a bat. Where is it?
It's under the wood stove. I mean, so it's right there, right at those gloves. I think it's right behind the gloves. There is a tidying right at the gloves. It's at the gloves. You see it?
Actually, I got it in the net now.
Just throw the whole net. It'll be fine.
Hold up. Yes, my friends, no joke. Somehow a bat went up in through our chimney and came down that chimney, and it was suddenly mixing it up with little barn cat over in the living room. Now, bats can be a pretty significant vector for rabies, and so generally speaking, you don't want your animals mixing with bats at all. And so we quickly shooed Lil Barn Cat out of the room, and I went and grabbed my handy dandy chicken retrieval net, and I was able to get the net over the bat. And then I sort of slid the net outside and flipped it on the porch. And then I flipped it upside down so the bat could get out. And I left the bat and the net on the porch so that the bat could go off to safety and go about living its life. And we would be able to avoid having to deal with any, rabies related things, even though Allison, out of an abundance of caution, decided to take Lil to the vet that night and get just a rabies booster. Our cats get like a 3-year rabies vaccine, and she was like into the 3rd year of it. And so we were like, hey, let's rather be safe than sorry. And so she just got a rabies booster last night. But it was quite the adventure. Well, good morning, large white farm dogs. How are you guys doing? Hi. Hi there. Hey, Toby dog. Hey, Abby dog. Stay down. Do not jump up on me, Abby. Hi, dogs. Hi. Hi. Hi, buddy. Abby, sit. Sit. Stay. You do not get to act poorly. Sometimes Abby dog can be a little bit needy and she gets a little worked up. Hey, stop it. No. You gotta just get used to it. Sit. You get attention when you behave. You don't get attention when you act like a bad girl. Okay, we got chores to do today. Come on, guys. We have some treats for the chickens. So my wife has a gluten intolerance, and I've been trying to make gluten-free sourdough bread, and each of my experiments have been awful. But because I've been trying, I've been making and wasting a lot of gluten-free bread. Usually it's to the benefit of the dogs and the birds. Toby, you wanna do a taste test? There you go. Abby, you were just being a very good girl right there. You can do a taste test too. It didn't make for very good bread, but it seems to make very good dog bones. So I don't know, I might be accidentally onto something. Here you go, you guys. Here, give it a shot, chickens. See what you think of it. So I wanted to show you guys this little weird chicken here. So as you may recall, my weird chickens hatched out one weird chicken earlier this summer, and this is actually the product of it. You can see it's got a bit of a problem in that it's got a pretty bad case of scissor beak. There's not too much you can do about it. I mean, you can do things like where you can file it down, but I actually think it might be better off just having it grow like this. So far, he's been eating okay and doing okay. He's much smaller than all of the other birds, but part of that is because he's part weird chicken. So he's got those silky feathers. You can even see some of the feathering that he's got is just not all that normal. Eventually, when I complete the new home for my weird chickens, I'm gonna probably move him in with them, at least for the time being. Because I'm like pretty much 99% sure he's a rooster, I will probably process him this fall just like I do most of my other rooster chicks. But I figured it'd be good to at least, you know, give him a few months of happiness growing up with everybody and hanging out with everybody. And I know I'm definitely gonna hear from folks in the comments saying I should keep him, but the reality is I probably would have processed him anyway. I don't want him breeding with my other chickens because they're related, as well as he might have just some genetic problems. And so yes, this one will probably ultimately end up going into the freezer. It is kind of interesting to see just how a chicken's beak can develop this way. So his mother is Carmen, who's this black cochin that you see hanging out here, wandering around. His father is actually wandering around right here. He's one of the weird chickens who can actually now jump out and escape. So that's his father. You can see a couple of our other weird chickens running around. We have two other weird chicken chicks that have hatched. You can see them. Neither of them have cross beak or scissor beak. So that's a good thing. If they are female, they'll end up staying with the weird chickens. It's funny, they look like they're Carmen's kids too, even though a different chicken hatched them out. Carmen didn't hatch out that other one either. Carmen tried to hatch out some eggs, I think, but just hasn't had much luck this year. But despite all that, her eggs have been pretty fertile. What you doing, Abby dog? Are you checking in on Greta, our duck who's still sitting on a nest down here? She is the reason why I haven't started ripping up all of this fencing and changing the structure of the weird chicken coop, because I still want to give her a chance to hatch out her eggs, even though we're getting pretty close to me intervening and kicking her out. But I'm going to give her a few more days just to see if we can get a couple of extra ducklings out of her. Hey geeses, how's it going, guys? Are you doing good this morning? Huh? I'll give you guys an update on the goats and the new goat barn in just a couple of minutes. But first we gotta water our pumpkins. This hole right here has become Toby Dog's favorite spot to hang out over the summer. Come on guys, let's go in. We're gonna do the pumpkins, come on. Yeah, you guys will notice we got pumpkin plants galore growing in here. It's kind of tropical almost. We're actually officially getting pumpkins too. Like you can see, I've got one of my giant pumpkins already growing just right down there. I come in here and I try to pull off any flowers that I see sprouting. This one also has a pumpkin. It's not doing as well as that other one, but the pumpkin in here is doing good. I'm actually starting to set the pumpkins in these tires. That's just me trying to be an optimist and thinking ahead, in that by doing that, and yes, I feed all of the pickings to the goats, but in setting them in the tires, I think it'll make it easier to move them when they do get bigger. Give this guy some fertilized water. I've been feeding these plants the duck wastewater as part of their water rations. My thinking being the dirty duck water will have just a little bit of nutrition for them to help them grow further without being too much and being too powerful and essentially offering too much nitrogen and burning my plants. This plant here is struggling a bit. I'm not sure if it's gonna make it. The biggest problem has been just absolute infestations of the squash bugs, which I'm gonna try to get these guys up. I've been trying to come in here pretty much every day and do a round of debugging, but the problem is they just pop up everywhere. They're very persistent and they just won't go away. I think if I try to do giant pumpkins again next year, I will do them very differently in a couple of ways, because I've learned a lot of things on what to do and what not to do. It's been instructive for sure. Although it's time consuming, the duct tape method does actually work pretty good in getting them. It's like a whole infestation. And so then when you look at what I'm pulling off, it's bugs at various stages of development. Like so, those little copper things are the eggs. Then you see some adult bugs. You see some nymphs or younger bugs. Yeah, there's just a lot of them. Like definitely the argument against monoculture is back here, where I've been letting other plants grow and just spring up. You can actually see these guys are not having nearly as much problems with the squash bugs as the ones that are further down at the end row there. Ooh, would you look at that? We got a bee in the flower. I'm still waiting for this one to get a good, healthy squash growing on it before I start cutting its flowers. It's got a couple of candidates. You can see lots of drowsy bumblebees and honeybees sleeping inside the flowers. Nothing just yet that makes me want to cut them off. Like you can see that one down there. I'm gonna give that another couple of days. If that starts to really take off, I'll start cutting off all the other flowers. But until then, we'll let them feed the pollinators. There's also that one growing down there. So This one will probably start getting pruned very regularly very soon. And then these that are growing up in the wilderness, they actually seem like they're doing pretty good too. So I'm not gonna rush to cut them off or do anything to them just yet. Ooh, actually, you know what? I think that pumpkin officially looks ready to be trimmed. We're gonna start taking off this guy's flowers. We got a drowsy little bee inside this flower, getting drunk off all the pollen. Toby Dog, protecting giant pumpkins from goats since 2025. I love you, buddy. I know it might feel like I'm doing this for much too long of a time in a video, but let me just tell you guys I'm doing it for me because of the amount of serotonin that is released when I pet Toby Dog like this. And I think he seems to like it too. Good boy. Yeah. Good morning, Gotois. Here, come on out. Oh, you like that, huh? Oh, you're such good boys. Looks like the ducks have invaded your space for the morning. So it's only been a couple days since I completed building the new goat barn. Yet I've got to say, it's been working out tremendously well so far. The goats seem to really enjoy the space. It's feeling like just the right type of shelter for them. Again, I'm still gonna build a door. I haven't done that yet, but before winter we'll have a door. I did put a little kick panel up there though, just to block it in just a little bit more. You know, one of the comments that I got was that it seems like I'm leaving like a lot of like open holes and airspace for the barn. And the truth of the matter is that was very intentional. You know, one of the biggest things you have to think about when you're doing really any animal housing is ventilation. And particularly when you're doing like deep litter bedding, making sure that things are well ventilated and that your animals are getting fresh air and you're not just kind of locking them in with noxious fumes. Like, that's really important. And so, yeah, it doesn't insulate all that well, but this was always going to be an unfinished barn to begin with. And so it was never going to be all that insulated. You know, the purpose of the barn is really to keep moisture out, keep them out of the wind, keep them out of the weather, and for them to be able to stay dry and have fresh bedding inside that dry place. It's not to like insulate them. You know, particularly when you live in a wetter climate like we have here in Vermont, it is really important to always think about ventilation because your issues with water and moisture management and air management, like those are going to always be way, way more important than like just pure insulation. And so for folks who might be asking about that, particularly, I feel like I got a lot of comments from folks in the South. That is something that I keep in mind. But yeah, the goats are very much liking it. Isn't that right, Telemachus? I know, Barnacus. Yes, I agree too. Larn, you're a fan, I know. And for all of those speculating and wondering why I built a goat barn, that's far too big for the 3 weather goats that I have right now. I think I'm gonna let you guys continue to speculate for just a little bit longer. Oh no, it looks like my cattle are all gone. I don't see them anywhere. Like, I'm not panicking, right? But as I look out into my ocean of grass, I do not see any cattle. I'm not too terribly worried about it because we've had a couple of really hot days and really the rest of this week is gonna be really hot. Like, the high yesterday was 91. I think the high today is also gonna be like 90 or 91 or something like that. And so yesterday I actually opened up the back line, like the fence line, so that they could get access to some areas further back in the pasture where there's trees. And so my guess right now is they're hanging out where the trees are at. They'll probably come this way pretty soon as they hear me talking to you guys. But until they do, it is a little bit creepy because I don't know where my cattle are. All right, let's see if we can find our cattle. Hey, cows! Come on, cows, fresh grass, come on. Hey, cows, come on, cows, fresh grass, come on. You see, what they like to do is they like to go all the way back to the other tree line because there's a lot of overhanging trees back there that give them some nice shade. And so again, that's why I actually, when it started to get really hot, I decided to give them extra. Not to say that the shade mobile doesn't give them shade. It's just when I have the number of cattle that I have and the heat that I've been having, I feel like I actually need a little bit more shade than I've been doing. And so this has been my secret to compensating. But what I've found is, this is what happened yesterday morning too. What I'm finding is it takes a little while to get their attention and convince them to come this way to get their feed. What are you doing back there, girls? Oh no. Come on, cows. Come on, my girls. Come on. Come with me, girls. So it appears as if my neighbor's cattle have crossed the fence line, and they were the ones holding back my girls this morning. So let me walk my crew down, make sure everybody's accounted for. Hey, cows, come on, come on, come on, girls. Let's go, come on. Let me make sure they're all accounted for. We got Belinda, Annabelle, Joey, Ariel, Audrey, Macho Man, Anna Green Gables, Bonnie McMurray, Amanda Hugginkiss, our 3 Charlets, baby bees in the back there. Okay. I always feel like I got to do a quick head count like that, or else I get very, very nervous. Like anytime I ever have like a moment where I see something related to the cattle that doesn't quite look right, I always have that brief moment of panic. And the only way to release that sense of panic is to do a quick head count. I think I'm gonna have to take away that back line that I've been using so well to avoid mixing up the herds. Come on, girls, let's go, come on. Got some fresh grass coming for you right now. So I will say this is the one nice thing about training your cattle to come when you call them. Come on, let's go, come on. In you go. Come on. Everybody in, let's go. Come on, girls, let's go. In we go, in we go. I'm gonna have to get you kind of clumped together a little bit this morning. It's only temporary though. Just give me enough time to call my neighbor and help him rescue his cattle and get them back to his farm. Like you can see them checking me out. It's a bunch of calves, a bunch of mamas, all hiding back here. I don't want to get too close to them and tangle with them. Those mamas might get protective with me. You just don't know, so you got to be careful. Look at that calf back there. There's a couple of really pretty ones back there.
And I also think I'm going to have to make this video have a part 2, which will be available very, very soon. And you can see if I'm able to help my neighbor get his cattle back over to his farm and avoid causing any more problems on my farm. I'll link that video right here as soon as it's available. But until then, you can watch something else.